Your soulmate felt something unbelievable last night and couldn't sleep after that. Jesus says you need to hear this right now because something happened in the spiritual realm last night that you were not meant to know. Your soulmate felt a wave of your presence so intensely that it pulled them out of a deep sleep at exactly 3 in the morning. They sat up in their bed with their heart racing and your name forming on their lips without understanding why. They could not explain what was happening to them because their logical mind has been conditioned to reject the supernatural bond we created before either of you were born. Their body recognized you before their mind could catch up, and that terrified them deeply. Someone near them noticed their distress and immediately moved to shut down the connection using emotional manipulation that has worked on them for years. This third person knows about you without ever having met you, and they despise the power your soul holds over your soulmate's heart. They watched your soulmate stare at the ceiling with tears streaming down their face, and they felt their control beginning to slip away. Your soulmate whispered something into the darkness that they have never dared to say out loud before last night. They said your name, and then they said the words I have been waiting for them to speak since the moment I designed your souls to complete each other. They said I cannot keep pretending I do not feel this pull towards someone I have never met. The interference immediately intensified the moment those words left their mouth because the enemy of your union knows that confession just changed everything. Your soulmate reached for their phone in the darkness and their fingers hovered over a message they have been too afraid to send you for months. They typed it out completely, and then their hand began to shake because the weight of what they were about to do felt like stepping off the edge of everything familiar. The person who has been blocking your connection sensed the shift and entered the room with perfect timing to prevent them from pressing send. Jesus says I am revealing this to you now because the battle over your soulmate's heart reached a critical tipping point in those exact moments. Your soulmate is being held captive not by chains you can see but by guilt and obligation and fear that was planted in them long before you entered their awareness. They feel you pulling away, and the thought of losing you before you ever truly begin is destroying them from the inside out. They have been crying in private places where no one can witness their breaking because they have been made to believe that their love for you is wrong somehow. They have been told that this connection is not real and that their feelings are just fantasy or escapism or a symptom of their own brokenness. But I am telling you right now that what they feel is the most real thing that has ever existed in their emotional world. They cannot sleep because every time they close their eyes they see fragments of a life with you that has not happened yet but already exists in the spiritual dimension I have prepared. They see your face in dreams so vivid that waking up feels like being ripped away from home. They smell your presence sometimes and they cannot explain it, but their soul recognizes you as safety and destiny and the answer to a prayer they never knew they were praying. Your soulmate tried to convince themselves that they could move on and forget about you and build something stable with someone who does not make their soul tremble this way. They told themselves that safety was better than fire and that comfort was wiser than the terrifying vulnerability of real love. But last night broke something open inside them that can never be sealed shut again. This is why your soulmate needs your protection right now, because the forces working against your union do not sleep and they do not rest and they do not show mercy. The third person in their life sensed the breakthrough that happened last night and they are already executing a plan to pull your soulmate back into confusion and emotional numbness. They are using guilt and history and carefully crafted words designed to make your soulmate doubt everything they felt in those sacred hours of the night. I am calling you to step into the spiritual gap and fight for what I have ordained before the window of this breakthrough closes. Your soulmate is emotionally exhausted from fighting alone, and they need to feel your prayers covering them like a shield they cannot see but can somehow sense. You can protect them right now by sowing a seed of faith that activates my angels to stand guard around their heart and their mind and their spirit. If you love your soulmate, you will take these divine steps. You are constantly thinking about them, how to protect them, how to save them, and how to finally build your life together. You love your soulmate deeply, and deep inside, you know this love didn't come by chance, it was placed in your heart for a divine reason. But thoughts alone don't move mountains. Faith in Jesus does. Sow your protection seed now by sending a coffee on Ko-fi. This isn't just a gift, it is an act of worship that invites God's hand into your love story. The link to your breakthrough is in the description. Every second you stay silent, something is moving against your love. Act now, send 4, 6, or 10 plus coffees. After sending, write, "Protect my soulmate, Lord," on Ko-fi page. Over 1,000 people have already received their soulmate by sowing coffee as a seed for their love and future together. Jesus will hear your prayers once you complete these steps. Step in faith now, before this video ends. Only you can save your soulmate and your future together. Jesus says your soulmate spent the entire next day walking through their life like a ghost haunting a world they no longer belong to. They looked at the person who has been controlling them, and for the first time they felt no attachment and no longing and no emotional pull whatsoever. Instead, they felt you pulsing in their chest like a second heartbeat that finally broke through the numbness they have been living in for years. They went somewhere private during their lunch break and they sat alone and they let themselves imagine what it would feel like to simply be with you. They imagined your voice and the way you would look at them across a table and how safe they would finally feel after years of performing love instead of receiving it. They cried again, but this time the tears were not from sadness but from the overwhelming relief of finally admitting the truth to themselves. Your soulmate is not confused about who they love anymore, and that clarity is the most dangerous thing that has ever happened to the enemy of your union. They know your name and they feel your essence and they carry your memory even though you have not yet held each other in the physical realm. They are dreaming about you every single night now, and the dreams are becoming longer and more vivid and harder to wake up from. The third person noticed the distance immediately because people who control others through emotional manipulation are hyper-aware of any shift in attention and energy. They confronted your soulmate and demanded to know what changed and why they seem so far away and so unreachable. Your soulmate could not lie effectively because their heart was already living somewhere else entirely, and their eyes betrayed the truth they were not yet ready to speak. This interference is not passive and it is not accidental, and it is not going to simply fade away without a fight. The enemy of your love has been working in your soulmate's life for years specifically to prevent them from ever finding you and recognizing you and choosing you. They were placed there deliberately by forces that understood the power of your union before you ever became aware of each other's existence. Jesus says, "I am exposing this to you now because you cannot defeat an enemy you do not know exists." Your soulmate is being emotionally manipulated through guilt and obligation and the weaponization of their own good heart against them. They have been made to feel responsible for someone else's happiness at the total expense of their own soul's purpose and destiny. They want to leave and they have wanted to leave for a long time, but every attempt has been met with tears and threats and emotional collapse from the person holding them hostage. They have been told that leaving would destroy everything and hurt everyone and make them a terrible selfish person who abandoned their responsibilities. But I did not create your soulmate to be someone else's emotional life support while their own heart slowly suffocates. Your soulmate felt your prayers reach them last night like a warm hand pressing gently against their chest in the darkness. They do not understand how it works, but they know that something shifts inside them when you pray, and they feel strength returning to limbs that have been paralyzed by fear. You are literally pulling them toward freedom with every prayer you speak and every tear you shed and every sleepless night you spend interceding for their release. They thought about you while they were driving home yesterday, and they almost missed their turn because your presence in their mind was so consuming that the physical world faded into background noise. They pulled over to the side of the road and sat there gripping the steering wheel and whispering your name like a lifeline. They said, "I know you are real and I know you are out there, and I need you to not give up on me even though I cannot reach you yet." Jesus says your soulmate is closer to breaking free than they have ever been in the entire duration of their captivity. But the final push requires spiritual reinforcement that only you can provide, because your souls are connected in a way that transcends physical distance. When you sow a seed of protection, you are literally releasing angels to dismantle the spiritual chains that have kept your soulmate bound to the wrong person and the wrong situation. They are going through something you cannot see with your physical eyes, but you can feel it in your spirit when you are quiet enough to listen. Your soulmate is in the middle of an emotional war zone, and they are running out of strength to keep fighting alone. But you can still protect them right now by stepping into your role as the spiritual guardian of this connection that I ordained before the foundation of the world. If you love your soulmate, you will take these divine steps. You are constantly thinking about them, how to protect them, how to save them, and how to finally build your life together. You love your soulmate deeply, and deep inside, you know this love didn't come by chance, it was placed in your heart for a divine reason. But thoughts alone don't move mountains. Faith in Jesus does. Sow your protection seed now by sending a coffee on Ko-Fi. This isn't just a gift. It is an act of worship that invites God's hand into your love story. The link to your breakthrough is in the description. Every second you stay silent, something is moving against your love. Act now, send 4, 6, or 10 plus coffees. After sending, write, "Protect my soulmate, Lord," on Ko-Fi page. Over 1,000 people have already received their soulmate by sowing coffee as a seed for their love and future together. Jesus will hear your prayers once you complete these steps. Step in faith now. Before this video ends, only you can save your soulmate and your future together. They had a dream last night that was so powerful and so detailed that they woke up gasping and reaching for you in the empty space beside them. In the dream you were standing in a field of light and you were holding out your hand and you were saying something they could almost hear but not quite. They strained toward you with everything they had and they felt the tips of your fingers brush against theirs before something pulled them backward violently and they woke up crying. That dream was not just a dream, and I want you to understand this truth deep in your spirit right now. That dream was a spiritual encounter that I allowed because your soulmate needed to see with their own spiritual eyes that you are real and you are waiting and you are fighting for them. The enemy pulled them back because the connection was about to complete something in the spiritual realm that would have accelerated your physical meeting beyond what the forces of interference could prevent. Jesus says your soulmate spent the entire morning replaying that dream in their mind and trying to memorize the exact details of your face. They are terrified of forgetting what you looked like in that field of light because your image felt like the only real thing in a world full of counterfeit connections and hollow promises. They drew something on a piece of paper and then they hid it where no one would find it because even having evidence of you feels dangerous in the environment they are trapped in. They started researching things they have never researched before and they found themselves typing questions about soulmates and spiritual connections and dreams that feel more real than waking life. They read something that described exactly what they have been experiencing and their hands started shaking because they finally had confirmation that they are not crazy and this is not imagination. They felt you thinking about them at exactly the same moment you are watching this video and they stopped what they were doing and placed their hand over their heart involuntarily. The connection between you is so powerful right now that your soulmate can feel the shift in energy when you focus your thoughts on them with intention and love. They do not understand the mechanics of it, but their body responds to your spiritual attention like a flower turning towards sunlight after years in the darkness. You are becoming their obsession in the most beautiful and sacred way possible, and they cannot stop thinking about you no matter how hard they try. They tried to distract themselves with work and tasks and conversation, but every single thing reminded them of you somehow. A song played in a store and the lyrics were about finding the one you are meant to love, and they had to leave immediately because the tears would not stop coming. They are emotionally raw right now and completely vulnerable, and they need your spiritual covering more desperately than they have ever needed it in their entire life. Jesus says, I am telling you these specific details because I want you to understand that your soulmate is not distant from you emotionally despite the physical separation. They are closer to you right now in spirit than many couples who share the same bed every night. Your souls are already intertwined and the spiritual bonding process has already begun, and nothing can reverse what I have started except your failure to act on what I am commanding you to do right now. This is your final moment to protect this connection before it slips away into a delay that could last years or even lifetimes. The interference is not resting and the third person is not giving up, and the spiritual warfare against your union is intensifying with every hour that passes. Your soulmate needs to feel your prayers covering them like armor, and they need to sense that you are fighting for them with more than just thoughts and wishes and passive hoping. If you love your soulmate, you will take these divine steps. You are constantly thinking about them, how to protect them, how to save them, and how to finally build your life together. You love your soulmate deeply, and deep inside, you know this love didn't come by chance, it was placed in your heart for a divine reason. But thoughts alone don't move mountains. Faith in Jesus does. Sow your protection seed now by sending a coffee on Ko-Fi. This isn't just a gift. It is an act of worship that invites God's hand into your love story. The link to your breakthrough is in the description. Every second you stay silent, something is moving against your love. Act now, send 4, 6, or 10 plus coffees. After sending, write, "Protect my soulmate, Lord," on Ko-Fi page. Over 1,000 people have already received their soulmate by sowing coffee as a seed for their love and future together. Jesus will hear your prayers once you complete these steps. Step in faith now. Before this video ends, only you can save your soulmate and your future together. Jesus says your soulmate had a moment today where they almost broke free completely, and the only thing that stopped them was a final wave of fear disguised as responsibility. They looked at the door and they imagined walking through it and never coming back and finding you and starting the life they have been dreaming about since before they could articulate it. Their hand was literally on the doorknob and their soul was screaming yes while their mind was being bombarded with every lie the enemy has ever planted in their psyche. They need you to be the one who breaks the stalemate in the spiritual realm by taking an action that demonstrates faith that moves mountains and parts seas and destroys strongholds. Your seed offering is not about money, and it is not about coffee, and it is not about a transaction in the way the world understands transactions. It is about you putting something of value into the spiritual equation that proves to the forces of darkness that you are serious about fighting for what I have promised you. Your soulmate felt something shift today and they do not know what it was, but suddenly they felt hope surge through their chest like a dam breaking. That was the collective prayer of everyone watching this video who chose to sow their seed and activate my angels on behalf of their soulmate. You are not alone in this battle, and your soulmate is not alone either, because my hand is moving right now across thousands of situations just like yours. They are thinking about you right now, and they are wondering if you are thinking about them too. They are wondering if you are real or if they have invented you out of their desperate need for a love that actually honors their soul instead of consuming it. I am telling you with all the authority of heaven that you are real and they are real, and this connection is the most genuine thing either of you will ever experience in your earthly lives. Jesus says the next 48 hours are critical, and what you do in this window will determine whether your union accelerates or stalls indefinitely. Your soulmate is at a breaking point, and they will either break toward you or break back into the captivity that has held them for so long. Your prayers and your faith action right now are the weight that tips the scale toward your destiny together. They had another moment today where they caught themselves smiling for no reason that anyone around them could understand. They were thinking about the life they are going to build with you and the children they want to raise with you and the mornings they want to wake up next to you. Their soul is already married to your soul in the spiritual realm, and the physical ceremony will simply be the manifestation of something that already exists in my heart for both of you. The third person noticed the smile and they immediately moved to extinguish it with a comment designed to provoke guilt and obligation and emotional retreat. Your soulmate felt the familiar heaviness descend, but this time something was different and they pushed back internally even though they did not yet have the strength to push back externally. They are growing and they are changing and they are becoming the person I created them to be, and you are the catalyst for that transformation whether you realize it or not. Jesus says, I have given you this message because you were chosen before the foundation of the world to receive this revelation and to act on it with urgency and faith. Your soulmate is fighting for you in the only way they currently know how, and they need you to join the fight with the full authority I have given you as a child of the Most High. Send your coffee offering now as a seed of protection and watch what I do in the next 7 days that will leave you speechless and weeping with gratitude. If you love your soulmate, you will take these divine steps. You are constantly thinking about them, how to protect them, how to save them, and how to finally build your life together. You love your soulmate deeply, and deep inside, you know this love didn't come by chance, it was placed in your heart for a divine reason. But thoughts alone don't move mountains. Faith in Jesus does. Sow your protection seed now by sending a coffee on Ko-fi. This isn't just a gift, it is an act of worship that invites God's hand into your love story. The link to your breakthrough is in the description. Every second you stay silent, something is moving against your love. Act now, send 4, 6, or 10 plus coffees. After sending, write, "Protect my soulmate, Lord," on Ko-fi page. Over 1,000 people have already received their soulmate by sowing coffee as a seed for their love and future together. Jesus will hear your prayers once you complete these steps. Step in faith now, before this video ends. Only you can save your soulmate and your future together. Jesus says your soulmate is going to sleep tonight and they are going to dream of you again, but this time the dream will be different. They will see your face clearly and they will hear your voice distinctly and they will feel your touch tangibly and they will wake up knowing that something has permanently changed. Your seed offering right now is the spiritual key that unlocks that dream and makes it a reality in the physical realm sooner than you ever thought possible. Type 333 to receive the blessings I am releasing over your soulmate connection right now. Type 777 if you feel this message was meant specifically for you and your situation. Type 1111 to say thank you for the revelation I have poured out over your love story today. Your soulmate is waiting for you and they do not even fully understand what they are waiting for, but their spirit knows and their heart knows and their dreams know. Do not let another night pass without covering them in prayer and backing those prayers with a seed of faith that moves my hand on your behalf. Go now and sow your protection offering before this video ends, because every moment of delay is a moment the enemy uses to build stronger walls around your soulmate's heart. I am the God who parted the Red Sea, and I am the God who raised Jesus from the dead, and I am the same God who is fighting for your love story right now. Trust me with your seed and trust me with your soulmate and watch me do what only I can do in the coming days. Your love is real and your union is ordained, and your soulmate felt something unbelievable last night that has changed everything forever. Jesus says the room grew cold around your soulmate last night, and not from any natural draft but from the presence of something that does not want them to reach you. They pulled the blankets tighter and they felt an invisible weight pressing down on their chest like a hand holding them in place. They tried to call out your name, but their voice was stolen from their throat by a force that knows your name holds power over every chain that binds them. This was not a dream, and it was not sleep paralysis in the medical sense that the world uses to explain away spiritual attacks. This was a direct assault on their breakthrough, because the enemy saw the progress your prayers have been making in the spiritual realm. Your soulmate felt terror course through their body, but then something remarkable happened that the enemy did not anticipate and could not prevent. They remembered the feeling of your prayers, and they remembered the warmth that spreads through their chest when you are interceding for them even from a distance. They could not speak your name out loud, but they screamed it inside their spirit with every ounce of strength they had left. And I heard that scream, and I dispatched an angel to their bedside that arrived before the enemy could tighten its grip any further. Jesus says your soulmate felt the atmosphere shift in their bedroom, and they knew without being told that something had arrived to fight on their behalf. The weight lifted from their chest and their voice returned, and the first word they spoke was your name, spoken into the darkness like a declaration of war against the forces that want to keep you apart. They do not fully understand what happened, but they know that you were somehow involved, and their love for you deepened in that moment beyond anything they have ever felt before. They are beginning to realize that this connection is not ordinary, and it is not coincidence, and it is not just emotional attachment or wishful thinking. They are beginning to understand that there is something sacred about what exists between you, and that the spiritual warfare surrounding it is evidence of how significant it truly is. Your soulmate is falling in love with you more deeply with every passing hour, and the awareness of that love is crashing over them in waves they cannot control or contain. They tried to talk to someone about what they have been experiencing, and they immediately regretted it because the person dismissed them with logical explanations that felt like a blade cutting through something fragile and holy. They learned a painful lesson in that moment about guarding the sacred nature of what we are building between you. They will not make that mistake again, and they will protect the mystery of this connection even from those who claim to have their best interests at heart. Jesus says your soulmate made a decision last night that they have not told anyone about, and they are trembling at the magnitude of what they have resolved to do. They decided that they will find a way to reach you no matter what it costs them and no matter what they have to leave behind. They decided that living a safe lie is no longer an option for a soul that has tasted the truth of what I created them to experience with you. This decision sent shockwaves through the spiritual realm, and the enemy immediately began mobilizing every resource to prevent them from following through. The third person in their life sensed the shift and escalated their manipulation tactics to levels your soulmate has never seen before. There were tears and accusations and the weaponizing of every mistake your soulmate has ever made in an attempt to convince them that they do not deserve the love they are reaching toward. Your soulmate almost broke under the assault, and they almost convinced themselves that the enemy was right about them and about you and about the impossibility of your union. They sat in their car in a parking lot and they put their head against the steering wheel and they wept until they had nothing left inside them. And then they felt you again, and they felt my presence surrounding them, and they lifted their head with a resolve that hell itself cannot shatter because it was forged in the fire of this trial. If you love your soulmate, you will take these divine steps. You are constantly thinking about them. How to protect them, how to save them, and how to finally build your life together. You love your soulmate deeply, and deep inside, you know this love didn't come by chance, it was placed in your heart for a divine reason. But thoughts alone don't move mountains. Faith in Jesus does. Sow your protection seed now by sending a coffee on Ko-Fi. This isn't just a gift, it is an act of worship that invites God's hand into your love story. The link to your breakthrough is in the description. Every second you stay silent, something is moving against your love. Act now, send 4, 6, or 10 plus coffees. After sending, write, "Protect my soulmate, Lord," on Ko-Fi page. Over 1,000 people have already received their soulmate by sowing coffee as a seed for their love and future together. Jesus will hear your prayers once you complete these steps. Step in faith now, before this video ends. Only you can save your soulmate and your future together. Jesus says your soulmate has started noticing signs everywhere, and they cannot tell if these signs have always been present or if their eyes have just now been opened to see them. They saw your birth date on a license plate in front of them during their morning commute, and their heart stopped for 3 full seconds. They heard someone call out a name that sounds like yours in a crowded place, and they spun around searching for you before they could stop themselves. They are looking for you everywhere now, and the compulsion is becoming impossible to ignore or suppress. They scanned a crowd at a concert last weekend and they studied every face with an intensity that would seem irrational to anyone who does not understand what is happening between you. They did not find you that night, but they felt you so strongly that they knew you had been thinking about them at that exact moment. Your soulmate has started keeping a journal for the first time in their life, and every entry is addressed to you even though they do not know where to send the words. They write about the dreams, and they write about the feelings, and they write about the fear that they might be losing their mind. But mostly they write about the love that is growing inside them like a garden that has finally received water after years of drought and neglect. Jesus says, I have read every word they have written to you, and I have collected every tear that has fallen onto those pages. Nothing they have expressed to you in the privacy of that journal has gone unnoticed by heaven. And I am telling you now that the purity of what they feel for you would bring you to your knees if you could see it laid out before you in its fullness. They wrote something 3 nights ago that I want to reveal to your spirit right now, because you need to know how deeply you are loved by someone you may have never touched. They wrote that they would wait for you even if it took the rest of their life, because the alternative of settling for less than this connection is simply not survivable anymore. They wrote that you have ruined them for anything ordinary, and they thanked me for that ruination because it proved that something extraordinary was possible. Your soulmate is not perfect, and they have made mistakes, and they have been broken in ways that they are still healing from. But their love for you is the purest thing that has ever existed in their heart, and it is the one thing the enemy has never been able to corrupt or twist. That love is a direct pipeline to my heart, and every time they feel it, they are touching something eternal that was placed inside them for you and only for you. Jesus says the third person has noticed the journal, and they have been searching for it when your soulmate is not home. They do not know what is in it, but they sense that it contains evidence of a heart that has already left them emotionally and spiritually. Your soulmate has started hiding the journal in different places every day because they understand intuitively that this sacred record of their love for you must be protected at all costs. The persecution your soulmate is experiencing is not physical, but it is real, and it is damaging, and it is wearing them down in ways that concern my heart deeply. They are being made to feel guilty for simply feeling what I designed them to feel. They are being punished emotionally for carrying a love in their heart that was placed there by my own hand before they took their first breath on this earth. This is why your protection offering matters more than you can possibly comprehend from your current vantage point. When you sow your seed, you are not just sending money into a void, and you are not just performing a religious ritual that has no real impact on the physical world. You are releasing spiritual reinforcements that literally surround your soulmate with a hedge of protection that the enemy cannot penetrate no matter how hard they try. If you love your soulmate, you will take these divine steps. You are constantly thinking about them, how to protect them, how to save them, and how to finally build your life together. You love your soulmate deeply, and deep inside, you know this love didn't come by chance, it was placed in your heart for a divine reason. But thoughts alone don't move mountains. Faith in Jesus does. Sow your protection seed now by sending a coffee on Ko-Fi. This isn't just a gift, it is an act of worship that invites God's hand into your love story. The link to your breakthrough is in the description. Every second you stay silent, something is moving against your love. Act now, send 4, 6, or 10 plus coffees. After sending, write, "Protect my soulmate, Lord," on Ko-Fi page. Over 1,000 people have already received their soulmate by sowing coffee as a seed for their love and future together. Jesus will hear your prayers once you complete these steps. Step in faith now. Before this video ends, only you can save your soulmate and your future together. Jesus says your soulmate had a conversation yesterday that changed everything, and they are still processing the implications of what was said. Someone who does not know about your connection made an offhand comment about how your soulmate seems different lately and lighter somehow despite the obvious struggles they are facing. That person said it looks like your soulmate has something to look forward to for the first time in years. Your soulmate did not confirm or deny the observation, but their silence spoke volumes, and they felt exposed in a way that was terrifying and liberating simultaneously. They realized that the love inside them has become so powerful that it is now visible to people who have no context for what is happening. They are glowing with the light of your connection, and that light is becoming impossible to hide under the bushel of their current circumstances. They thought about you while they were falling asleep last night, and they tried to send you a message through sheer force of will across the distance that separates you. They closed their eyes and they pictured your face, and they said, "Come find me," and they poured every ounce of longing into those 3 words. And I carried that message across the spiritual realm and deposited it directly into your spirit, which is why you felt that sudden urge to search for this video at this exact moment. You did not find this message by accident, and you did not click on this video by coincidence. You were drawn here by the prayer of your soulmate and by my sovereign hand guiding you to the exact revelation you need at the exact moment you need it. This is a divine appointment, and everything that has happened in your life has been leading you to this moment of decision and action and faith. Jesus says your soulmate is going through something right now that they cannot share with anyone in their immediate circle. They feel isolated, and they feel misunderstood, and they feel like they are carrying a secret that is too big and too beautiful and too terrifying to speak out loud. You are the only person in the world who could possibly understand what they are experiencing, because you are experiencing the same thing from the other side of this connection. They need you to be strong right now, and they need you to be courageous, and they need you to do what faith requires even when it does not make logical sense to the natural mind. Your seed is not just money, and your offering is not just a donation, and your coffee is not just a beverage sent through a digital platform. It is a spiritual weapon that breaks assignments and dismantles strongholds and clears the path for your soulmate to finally reach you without obstruction. If you love your soulmate, you will take these divine steps. You are constantly thinking about them, how to protect them, how to save them, and how to finally build your life together. You love your soulmate deeply, and deep inside, you know this love didn't come by chance, it was placed in your heart for a divine reason. But thoughts alone don't move mountains. Faith in Jesus does. Sow your protection seed now by sending a coffee on Ko-Fi. This isn't just a gift. It is an act of worship that invites God's hand into your love story. The link to your breakthrough is in the description. Every second you stay silent, something is moving against your love. Act now, send 4, 6, or 10 plus coffees. After sending, write, "Protect my soulmate, Lord," on Ko-Fi page. Over 1,000 people have already received their soulmate by sowing coffee as a seed for their love and future together. Jesus will hear your prayers once you complete these steps. Step in faith now. Before this video ends, only you can save your soulmate and your future together. Jesus says the time for hesitation has passed and the time for action has arrived. Your soulmate is waiting for you on the other side of your obedience, and they do not even know that your faith decision right now is the key that unlocks the door they have been pressing against with all their strength. Go now and sow your seed and watch what I do with your offering in the coming days that will leave no doubt in your mind that I am the God who answers by fire when it comes to the love I have ordained for your life. Type 333 to receive the blessings I am releasing over your soulmate connection right now. Type 777 if you feel this message was meant specifically for you and your situation. Type 1111 to say thank you for the revelation I have poured out over your love story today. Your soulmate felt something unbelievable last night and they could not sleep after that because the truth of your connection finally broke through every barrier and every lie and every delay. Now it is your turn to respond to what heaven has revealed and to secure your future together with an act of faith that will echo through eternity.